It's 10 to 11, and this is it from Yogesh. What's not to understand, James? All businesses that deal with Russia should rethink their involvement with the country unless you're related to the Prime Minister and he will benefit financially from said business. And if you're still barking up the tree that says, oh, they're not the same at all, then this is the rules for judges, or rather, these are the rules for judges. The fair-minded observer does not assume that the interests of spouses are indistinguishable. They are not. The test to be applied where there is a familial connection appears to be the same in presumed and apparent bias cases. So if a judge's spouse has a significant financial interest in Company A and a case involving Company A comes before that judge, they are usually obliged to recuse themselves. Thankfully, I don't have any personal experience of that or the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is when you are in pursuit of unemployment benefits or some form of help from the state, do they not look at household income? Is household income not a thing for the HMRC, or at least for the DWP in some areas? So the idea that you separate the financial affairs of one spouse from another in public life is palpably absurd. And in fact, it was that conversation with the last lad, actually, that really focused the mind on this. I don't generally do. I occasionally do it with Diane Abbott because I think she takes an unconscionable amount of abuse. I am by no means a member of the Diane Abbott fan club, but objectively speaking, 80 to 90% of the abuse that she receives is to do with her gender and her ethnicity and possibly her political party. It has absolutely nothing to do with her character or performance. But 10 to 20% of it does have to do with her character and performance. That's why I'm not a fully paid up member or indeed even a part-time member of the Diane Abbott fan club. She does some very silly things and continues to do so. But I do use her as an example sometimes, very rarely, because it's quite a lazy trope, just to go, well, imagine if it was so-and-so. But imagine if Jeremy Corbyn's wife was making millions of quid from a company still doing business in Russia. You got 2 weeks of front pages about Keir Starmer having a curry. Not a sausage, not a whisper, barely a syllable in the right-wing media about the fact that Rishi Sunak's wife makes millions of quid every year from a company that's still doing business in Russia. And if you think that's fine, why did they say in March that they were going to pull out? Go on, riddle me that. I let you down this morning. I tried too hard to see the other side on this argument. I think the early callers demonstrated there isn't one. It's absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous that the man can't even ensure proper sanctioning of Russia in his own house. And household income matters. Spousal income matters. Judges don't get to say, oh, no, those are my partner's financial interests, not mine. So why the hell should prime ministers sitting there at the G20 trying to tick off Sergei Lavrov with a big glare and strong words while his own spouse, gender is immaterial, while his own spouse takes 11.5 million quid a year out of a company that's still doing business in Moscow 9 months after saying they'd pull out? It's absolutely shameful. And I apologise for trying so hard, it's my curse, for trying so hard to entertain the possibility that there might have been two sides to this argument. Even I get gaslit by right-wing media. Even I sometimes forget that I live in a country where 80 to 90% of everything I see and read is designed to serve the interests of the Tory party. But that little Corbyn thing there, come on. Jeremy Corbyn's wife is taking millions of pounds every year out of a company still doing business in Russia after it invaded Ukraine. And he was still leader of the Labour Party, not even Prime Minister, just leader of the opposition. Yeah, exactly. Literally nobody is going to tell me that they'd be giving Jeremy Corbyn's wife an easy ride, or they wouldn't be reporting it at all, or they'd be talking about what a great... It's absolutely incredible that he sits, and in fact it's a mark of just how bent we've become as a country. We've got our Prime Minister sitting at the G20 trying to lay down the law to Russia, while his own wife is taking millions of quid out of a company still doing business in Moscow. I am so sorry for trying to be... open-minded, or whatever the phrase is at the top of the show this morning. It's pants down disgraceful. And if you doubt me, then just have a little think about what would happen if it was Jeremy Corbyn's wife. Or husband. For anyone pretending that there's some sort of Victorian... My socialist friends pretending that there's some sort of Victorian husband telling the wife what to do. In an equal society, husband tells wife what to do equals wife tells husband what to do. So it doesn't matter. It's incredible. And unless you can unpick the Jeremy Corbyn conundrum, I'm afraid you're on a hiding to nothing. You can't even get child benefit, I don't think, if your husband's tax return or your wife's tax return is above a certain threshold. Household income determines whether you even get child benefit, right? Oh, but it's got nothing to do with whether or not the Prime Minister can take the moral high ground with Russia. Absolute nonsense. I can't remember the last time I've been so embarrassed by an introduction that I've done on the programme. Absolutely pathetic of me to try so desperately to see two sides to this argument. It's stone cold rank behaviour. You can't even get child benefit if your household income is above a certain level. But we shouldn't talk about the Prime Minister's household income coming from Russia while he's laying down the law to Sergei Lavrov and Vladimir Putin at the G20. What a joke they've turned us into.